The truth about money nobody tells you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract money almost effortlessly while others work harder every single year, yet never seem to get ahead? Have you noticed that many people spend their entire lives chasing money, only to discover that the harder they chase it, the further it seems to run? What if everything you've been taught about money is incomplete? What if the biggest financial secrets were never taught in school, never explained by society, and never discussed openly? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Money is not just paper. It is not just numbers inside a bank account. Money follows patterns. It follows habits. It follows value. And most importantly, it follows the way you think. The world's wealthiest people don't simply know how to earn money. They understand something deeper. They understand the psychology behind money. And until you understand that psychology, you may continue working harder while earning less. In today's video, we're going to uncover the truths about money that most people discover far too late. Some of these truths may challenge everything you currently believe. Others may completely transform how you see success, wealth, and even your own future. Stay with me until the very end because the final truth might be the one that changes your financial life forever. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Money is a tool, not the goal. Most people grow up believing that money is the destination. They believe, if I just make enough money, everything will be perfect. But money has never been the destination. Money is only a tool. Imagine giving two people the exact same amount of money. One person invests it, learns, builds businesses, creates opportunities. 5 years later, they're wealthy. The other spends everything on things that lose value. Expensive clothes, latest gadgets, luxury lifestyle. 5 years later, they're broke again. The money wasn't different. The people were. Story. There were two childhood friends named Daniel and Michael. Both received 2 million Nigerian nairas after selling family land. Daniel immediately bought a luxury car, designer clothes, expensive watches. Everyone admired him. Michael bought a small used car, invested in learning digital skills, started a small business. The first year wasn't easy. People laughed at him. 5 years later, Daniel had sold almost everything. Michael now owned several businesses. People called him lucky. But it wasn't luck. One used money as a tool. The other used money as decoration. That's the first truth nobody tells you. Money doesn't create character. It reveals it. End of chapter. Transition. And if that truth surprised you, the next one is even more powerful. Because most people spend their lives chasing money without realizing that money is actually chasing something else. Chapter 2. Money follows value, not desperation. Here's one of the biggest lies society quietly teaches us. If you want more money, work harder. Working hard is important, but it is only part of the equation. There are millions of people who work incredibly hard every single day. Construction workers, farmers, cleaners, factory workers. Many of them leave home before sunrise and return after sunset. Their effort is real. Their sacrifice is real. Yet many still struggle financially. Meanwhile, someone sitting in a small office, writing software, designing products, or solving a difficult business problem may earn in one day what another person earns in an entire month. Does that mean one person works harder? Not necessarily. The difference is the value they create. Money is a reward for solving problems. The bigger the problem you solve, the more people you help, the more valuable your skills become, the more money naturally flows toward you. This doesn't mean money is perfectly fair. Many hardworking people are underpaid because of economic conditions, limited opportunities, or unfair systems. But one principle remains true across many industries. People who consistently create rare and useful value tend to increase their earning potential over time. The question isn't simply, how hard am I working? The better question is, what problem am I solving? Because the marketplace rewards value. If you spend years becoming someone who can solve problems that few others can solve, you become difficult to replace. And people gladly pay for people who are difficult to replace. Story. There was a young man named Samuel. Samuel worked at a small grocery store. Every month, he complained that his salary wasn't enough. One evening, an elderly customer noticed how discouraged he looked. The old man asked, "How many books have you read this year?" Samuel looked confused. "What does that have to do with money?" The old man smiled. "Everything," he continued. "Your salary today is payment for the value you can provide today. If you become more valuable, your income has a chance to grow as well." Samuel couldn't stop thinking about those words. Instead of spending every evening watching television, he began learning. He studied communication. He learned marketing. He practiced sales. He watched free educational videos. He read books from the local library. He attended affordable workshops whenever he could. Months turned into years. The same people who once ignored him started asking for his advice. Soon, a larger company offered him a better position. Later, he started a small consulting business helping local shops attract more customers. His income increased, not because money suddenly loved him, but because he had become more valuable. The truth was simple. Money didn't chase Samuel. Money followed the value Samuel had built. And that's a lesson many people never learn. Every day, ask yourself, what skill am I improving? What problem can I solve better than I could yesterday? How can I become more valuable to the people I serve? Those questions can change the direction of your financial future. Remember this. Money rarely rewards wishful thinking. It often rewards preparation. It rewards growth. It rewards people who are committed to becoming useful. End of chapter. Transition. But becoming valuable is only half the story. Because even people who earn a lot of money often remain broke. Why? Because they never learn the next truth. In the next chapter, you'll discover why earning money and keeping money are two completely different skills, and why mastering the second one is what builds lasting wealth. Chapter 3. Earning money and keeping money are two different skills. One of the greatest financial myths is this. If I can just earn more money, all my problems will disappear. At first, it sounds logical. After all, if you're struggling with bills, wouldn't a bigger paycheck solve everything? For a little while, it might. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Many people don't have an income problem. They have a money management problem. Every year, countless people receive promotions, salary increases, business profits, or unexpected windfalls. Yet just a few months later, they're back where they started. Why? Because increasing your income without improving your habits is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. No matter how much you pour in, it keeps leaking out. We often hear stories of athletes, musicians, actors, and even lottery winners who made enormous fortunes but later lost almost everything. It wasn't because they couldn't make money. It was because they never learned how to keep it. Keeping money requires discipline. It requires patience. It requires planning. And above all, it requires saying no to today's temptations so tomorrow's opportunities can grow. We live in a world that constantly tells us to spend. A new phone. A bigger television. More fashionable clothes. A car that's just a little more expensive. Social media makes it even harder. People post their highlights, their vacations, their luxury purchases, their perfect lifestyles. Without realizing it, many people begin spending money they haven't earned to impress people who aren't paying their bills. That is one of the fastest roads to financial stress. Wealth isn't built by looking rich. Wealth is built by making wise decisions consistently. Story. A man named Joseph got his dream job. His salary nearly doubled overnight. His family celebrated. His friends congratulated him. Joseph promised himself, "My financial worries are finally over." During the first month, he upgraded his phone. The second month, he bought a brand new motorcycle. Then came expensive clothes, weekend outings, costly subscriptions. He wanted his lifestyle to match his new income. At first, Everything felt exciting. But after a year, something surprising happened. Despite earning much more than before, Joseph still had no savings. He was living from one payday to the next. Then one day, an older colleague invited him to lunch. The colleague asked, "How much of your salary is working for you?" Joseph looked confused. "What do you mean?" The older man smiled. "If every naira you earn immediately leaves your account, then you're working for money. But when you save wisely, invest carefully, and prepare for the future, your money slowly begins to work for you." Those words changed Joseph's thinking. He stopped trying to impress people. He created a simple budget. He built an emergency fund. He invested part of every paycheck before spending the rest. The change wasn't instant. But year after year, his financial position became stronger. His peace of mind grew. His confidence grew. Not because he earned more, but because he finally learned how to keep what he earned. That is the truth many people never hear. Making money is exciting. Keeping money is transformational. Every naira has a purpose. When you give your money a purpose, it stops disappearing without explanation. Ask yourself these questions. Am I spending because I need it, or because I want to impress someone? Do I know where my money goes each month? Am I building my future, or only financing today? Small decisions repeated over many years create extraordinary results. Remember this. Income can make you comfortable, but wise financial habits are what create lasting freedom. End of chapter. Transition. Now you've learned how to earn and keep money. But there's another truth that keeps millions trapped for life. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's not bad luck. It's something far more dangerous. A mindset. In the next chapter, we'll uncover why poor thinking, not just a lack of money, keeps people financially stuck, and how changing your mindset can change your future. Chapter 4. Your mindset can make you rich or keep you poor. Before money ever reaches your wallet, it first passes through your mind. Your beliefs about money shape your financial decisions every single day. If you believe wealth is only for the lucky, you may never take the first step toward building it. If you believe successful people are always dishonest, you may unconsciously reject opportunities that could improve your life. If you believe you will never have enough, you may live in fear, even when opportunities are right in front of you. The truth is this: your mindset doesn't magically create money, but it influences the choices you make, the risks you're willing to take, the skills you develop, and the opportunities you notice. That's why two people can grow up in the same neighborhood, attend the same school, and face similar challenges, yet end up living completely different financial lives. One sees obstacles. The other sees possibilities. One says, "I can't." The other asks, "How can I?" That single question changes everything. People with a growth mindset understand that every skill can be improved. Every mistake contains a lesson. Every setback is temporary. They don't see failure as proof that they should quit. They see it as feedback that helps them improve. A poor mindset often says, "I'll start when I have enough money." A wealthy mindset asks, "What can I start with what I already have?" One waits. The other acts. And over time, those small differences produce dramatically different results. Story. There were two sisters named Grace and Esther. Both dreamed of owning successful businesses. Both had very little money. Both faced the same difficult economy. Grace spent years saying, "If I had more money, I would start." Every week, she found another reason to wait. She waited for the perfect idea, the perfect timing, the perfect amount of savings, the perfect opportunity. Meanwhile, Esther decided to begin with what she had. She started selling homemade snacks from her small kitchen. Her first week was disappointing. She made mistakes. Some customers never returned. Others complained. Instead of giving up, Esther listened. She improved her recipes. She learned basic marketing. She asked happy customers to recommend her to friends. Slowly, her customer base grew. Months later, she rented a small shop. Years later, She supplied snacks to supermarkets across her city. One evening, Grace visited Esther's business. Looking around in amazement, she said, "You were lucky." Esther smiled gently and replied, "It wasn't luck. It was thousands of small decisions made before anyone noticed the results." That answer stayed with Grace for a long time. She realized the biggest barrier had never been money. It had been the story she kept telling herself. From that day forward, she stopped waiting for perfect conditions and started taking consistent action. Her journey wasn't easy, but it had finally begun. That's the truth nobody tells you. Your financial future is often shaped long before your bank account changes. It begins with the thoughts you repeat, the habits you practice, and the courage to act before everything feels certain. So ask yourself, what beliefs about money have I accepted without questioning? Am I waiting for perfect conditions, or am I making the best use of what I have today? Is fear making my decisions, or is growth? Remember this. Your mindset alone won't make you wealthy. But without the right mindset, it's much harder to build the habits, skills, and persistence that lasting wealth requires. End of chapter. Transition. Changing your mindset is powerful. But there is one mistake that silently destroys the finances of millions of people. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens one small purchase at a time. In the next chapter, you'll discover why trying to look rich is one of the fastest ways to stay poor, and how truly wealthy people often think very differently. Chapter 5. Stop trying to look rich. There is a quiet trap that catches millions of people every year. It doesn't begin with a bad investment. It doesn't begin with losing a job. It begins with one dangerous question. What will people think of me? That question has emptied more wallets than most people realize. Many people buy things they don't truly need, with money they don't really have, to impress people who aren't thinking about them nearly as much as they imagine. A luxury phone purchased on credit, designer clothes worn once, an expensive car with repayments that leave little room for savings, a lavish party that is forgotten within days. For a few moments, these things may bring attention. But attention is not wealth. Real wealth is having choices. It's having peace of mind. It's knowing that if an emergency happens tomorrow, you won't panic because you've prepared. The truth about money is this. Looking rich and being rich are not the same thing. Some of the wealthiest people live surprisingly simple lives. They don't feel the need to prove their success to everyone. They understand that every naira spent today is a naira that cannot be invested for tomorrow. They ask a different question before making a purchase. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" they ask, "Will this move me closer to my goals or further away from them?" That single question can save you from years of financial regret. Story. There were two friends, David and Emmanuel. Both got new jobs at the same company. Both earned almost exactly the same salary. When David received his first few paychecks, he wanted everyone to see that he was successful. He bought the newest phone. He wore expensive designer clothes. Every weekend, he posted pictures from luxury restaurants. His social media looked impressive. People admired his lifestyle. Emmanuel made different choices. He continued using his old phone because it still worked well. He wore neat, affordable clothes. Instead of spending every extra naira, he saved consistently and began investing a small portion of his income each month. Some people laughed at him. They called him too careful. 5 years passed. David was still earning a good salary, but he had almost nothing saved. Most of his income disappeared as quickly as it arrived. One unexpected medical emergency forced him to borrow money from friends. Meanwhile, Emmanuel had built an emergency fund. His investments had grown steadily. He had enough savings to make a down payment on a small property. The same people who once laughed at him now asked, "How did you become so successful?" Emmanuel smiled and said, "I stopped trying to look wealthy and started working to become wealthy." That is a lesson worth remembering. The applause of strangers lasts only a moment. Financial freedom can last a lifetime. So before your next purchase, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I buying this because it improves my life, or because I want someone else to notice? Will this purchase still matter a year from now? Is this helping me build wealth, or only the appearance of wealth? The truth nobody tells you is this. Every time you delay unnecessary spending, you give your future self another opportunity to grow. Small sacrifices today can become great rewards tomorrow. Remember, the richest person in the room isn't always the one wearing the most expensive clothes. Often, it's the person quietly making wise financial decisions while no one is watching. End of chapter. Transition. By now, you've learned that money follows value, discipline, and the right mindset. But there's another truth that separates those who struggle financially from those who build lasting wealth. It has nothing to do with luck, and everything to do with one habit that most people ignore. In the next chapter, you'll discover why investing in yourself is often the highest return investment you'll ever make, and why no one can take that investment away from you. Chapter 6. The best investment you will ever make is in yourself. If someone gave you 10 million Nigerian nairas today, what would you do with it? Many people would immediately think about buying a new car, a bigger house, better clothes, the latest gadgets. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the rewards of your hard work. But here's a truth that wealthy people understand. The greatest investment isn't what you buy. It's who you become. Money can disappear. Businesses can fail. Markets can rise and fall. But the knowledge you gain, the skills you develop, the discipline you build, and the character you strengthen, these are assets that stay with you. No one can steal your education. No one can take away your experience. No one can erase the lessons you've learned through persistence. That's why successful people never stop learning. Even after becoming wealthy, they continue reading books, listening to mentors, taking courses, learning new technologies, improving their communication, expanding their leadership. Because they understand a powerful principle. The more you grow, the more value you can create. And the more value you create, the more opportunities naturally come your way. The world changes quickly. Skills that were valuable yesterday may become outdated tomorrow. That's why learning isn't something you finish after school. It's a lifelong habit. Every hour you spend improving yourself is an investment in your future. It may not pay you tomorrow. It may not pay you next month. But over the years, those small investments can produce extraordinary results. Story. A young woman named Ada worked as a receptionist in a small office. She earned enough to survive, but not enough to achieve the dreams she carried in her heart. Many evenings after work, she was exhausted. She could have spent every night scrolling through social media. Instead, she made a different choice. She dedicated just 1 hour each evening to learning. She studied computer skills. She improved her English communication. She learned how businesses use digital tools. At first, progress felt painfully slow. Some nights she wanted to quit. Some weekends she wondered if the effort was worth it. But she kept going. 1 year later, a vacancy opened in her company for an administrative assistant. Because of the new skills she had developed, she was promoted. Her salary increased. She didn't stop learning. She continued improving herself. A few years later, another company noticed her experience and offered her an even better position. Looking back, Ada realized something remarkable. The biggest investment she had ever made wasn't in property. It wasn't in expensive possessions. It was in herself. And that investment kept paying her back year after year. That is the truth about money. Before money grows, the person managing the money must grow. Ask yourself, what new skill can I begin learning this month? What book could change the way I think? Who inspires me to become a better version of myself? Am I spending more time being entertained than being educated? Imagine improving by just 1% every single day. At first, the progress would seem almost invisible. But over months and years, those small improvements could completely transform your life. Remember this. Your income today reflects where you are now. Your willingness to learn can influence where you'll be tomorrow. Never underestimate the power of investing in yourself. Because when you become more capable, you become more confident. When you become more confident, you recognize more opportunities. And when you recognize more opportunities, you put yourself in a stronger position to build lasting wealth. End of chapter. Transition. So far, we've discovered that money follows value, discipline, the right mindset, and continuous growth. But there is one final truth that quietly determines whether all of these lessons actually change your life. It's the difference between people who only dream and people who build a future. In the next chapter, we'll uncover why time is more valuable than money, and why every day you delay could be costing you more than you realize. Chapter 7. Time is more valuable than money. If someone stole 100,000 Nigerian nairas from you today, you could earn it back. You could work, start a business, learn a new skill, or find another opportunity. But if someone stole 1 year of your life, could you ever get it back? Never. That is why the wealthiest people in the world treat time as their most valuable asset. Money comes and goes. Time only goes. Every day, we all receive the same gift. 24 hours. The difference between successful people and everyone else is often not how much time they have, but how they choose to spend it. Many people say, "I'll start next month. I'll save when I earn more. I'll invest when the economy gets better. I'll learn that skill when life becomes easier." But later has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. Because later becomes next year. Next year becomes 5 years. And before they know it, they look back with regret. The truth about money is this: the earlier you begin making wise financial decisions, the more time those decisions have to work in your favor. Small, consistent actions often outperform big actions taken too late. Saving a little consistently, learning a little every day, investing regularly, improving your skills. These habits may seem insignificant today, but time has a remarkable way of multiplying consistent effort. Story. There were 2 cousins, Peter and John. Both were 25 years old. Both had similar jobs. Both earned almost the same salary. Peter believed he had plenty of time. Whenever someone talked about saving or investing, he would laugh. "I'm still young," he would say. "I'll worry about that later." John thought differently. He wasn't rich. He didn't earn a huge salary. But every month, he set aside a small portion of his income. He continued learning about personal finance. He invested in his skills. He stayed patient. 10 years passed. Peter was shocked to discover he had very little to show for all the money he had earned. Most of it had disappeared through impulsive spending and delayed decisions. John wasn't a millionaire, but he had built savings. His investments had grown steadily. He had far less financial stress. The biggest difference wasn't intelligence. It wasn't luck. It wasn't even income. It was time. John allowed time to become his partner. Peter allowed time to slip away. That is one of the greatest truths nobody tells you. Time rewards consistency. It punishes procrastination. Every day you delay learning, delay saving, delay building, is another day your future cannot recover. Ask yourself, what important financial decision have I been postponing? If I continue my current habits for the next 5 years, where will I end up? What one action can I take today that my future self will thank me for? Remember this. You don't have to change your entire life in one day. You simply have to begin. One wise decision today, repeated consistently, can completely change your future. Because in the end, money can be replaced. Time cannot. End of chapter. Transition. You've now discovered that money follows value, discipline, the right mindset, personal growth, and wise use of time. But there is one final truth that ties all of these lessons together. It's the lesson that separates people who only admire success from those who actually achieve it. In the next and final chapter, we'll reveal the truth about money that almost no one talks about, and why understanding it can change the rest of your life forever. Chapter 8. The biggest risk is doing nothing. Most people believe that taking action is risky. Starting a business feels risky. Learning a new skill feels risky. Investing carefully feels risky. Changing careers feels risky. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Doing nothing can be the biggest risk of all. Every year you delay improving yourself. Every year you postpone saving. Every year you refuse to learn. Life keeps moving. Prices rise. Technology changes. New opportunities appear and disappear. The world doesn't wait for anyone. Sometimes, the safest looking decision is actually the most dangerous one. Because while you're standing still, the world is moving forward. Story. There was a young man named Tund who lived in a quiet town. Everyone knew him as a kind, hard-working person. Every morning, he woke up before sunrise, put on his worn-out shoes, and walked to the same small shop where he had worked for nearly 12 years. His salary paid the bills, but only just. Every month ended the same way. His wallet was empty. His dreams were postponed. His excuse was always the same. I'm waiting for the right time. One evening, his childhood friend, Kunal, returned to town after several years away. The two friends sat outside under a mango tree, talking about old memories. After a while, Tund asked, "So, what have you been doing all these years?" Kunal smiled. "I've been learning." Tund laughed. "Learning? For years?" Kunal nodded. "I learned digital marketing. Then I learned sales. Then I learned how to run an online business. None of it was easy, but every new skill opened another door." Tund looked surprised. "You mean you weren't lucky?" Kunal chuckled. "No. I failed more times than I can count." He continued. "The first business I started made almost nothing. The second one failed completely. I lost money. I doubted myself. There were nights I wanted to quit." Tund leaned forward. "Then why didn't you?" Kunal looked at him and said quietly, "Because I realized something. Failing while moving forward is better than standing still forever." Those words stayed in Tund's mind. That night he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about all the years he had spent waiting. Waiting for a promotion. Waiting for more money. Waiting for someone to rescue him. The next morning, instead of going straight home after work, he visited the local library. He borrowed 2 books on business and personal finance. The following week, he enrolled in an affordable online course. It wasn't easy. After working all day, he studied late into the night. Many evenings he was exhausted. Some people mocked him. His cousin even said, "You're too old to start learning new things." For a moment, Tund almost believed him. But then he remembered Kunal's words. Failing while moving forward is better than standing still forever. So he kept going. Months later, Tund began offering simple bookkeeping services to small businesses in his community using the skills he had learned. His first client paid only a small amount. His second client recommended him to another business owner. Slowly, his confidence grew. 2 years later, he was earning more from his side business than from his full-time job. The day he resigned, his former manager asked, "What changed?" Tund smiled. "I stopped waiting for the perfect opportunity and started creating one." Years later, he employed several people from the same town where he had once believed success was impossible. Whenever young people asked him for advice, he would always say, "The biggest risk I ever took wasn't starting my business." He paused before adding, "The biggest risk was wasting years doing nothing." Silence filled the room every time he said those words. Because everyone knew they were true. Financial lesson. Many people fear making mistakes, but they never fear standing still. Yet standing still often costs more than failure ever could. Skills grow through practice. Confidence grows through action. Opportunities appear when preparation meets courage. Remember this. Every successful person was once a beginner. Every expert once made embarrassing mistakes. Every wealthy person once knew less than they know today. The question isn't whether you'll make mistakes. The question is whether you'll learn from them and keep moving. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start today. End of chapter. Transition. You've discovered that doing nothing can be the greatest financial risk of all. But there's one final truth. One lesson that separates people who merely earn money from those who build a lasting legacy. In our final chapter, you'll discover why true wealth isn't measured by what you own, but by what you leave behind. Chapter 9. True wealth is what you leave behind. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You work for 40 years. You earn money. You buy a house. You own nice things. People admire your success. But one day, your life comes to an end. Now ask yourself one question. What remains? Will people only remember the things you own? Or will they remember the lives you changed? This is one of the greatest truths about money that almost nobody talks about. Money is powerful. It can provide comfort. It can create opportunities. It can solve many problems. But money by itself is never the real measure of wealth. True wealth is the impact you leave behind. It's the children you educate, the family you protect, the people you help, the wisdom you pass on, the businesses you build that continue serving others long after you're gone. Many people spend their entire lives chasing money. The truly wealthy spend their lives building something that outlives them. That is the difference between having money and leaving a legacy. Story. In a small village lived an elderly carpenter named Mr. Ade. He wasn't famous. He didn't own luxury cars. He never appeared on television. His workshop was old, and the roof leaked whenever it rained. To many people, he looked like an ordinary man. But there was something unusual about him. Every Saturday morning, children from the village gathered around his workshop. Some came because they were curious. Others came because they had nowhere else to go. Mr. Ade welcomed every one of them with a warm smile. "Come in," he would say. "Today, we're going to build something." The children thought they were only learning carpentry. But Mr. Ade was teaching them much more than that. As they sanded pieces of wood, he would say, "A rough piece of wood becomes beautiful only after patience." When a boy became frustrated because he had made a mistake, Mr. Ade gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "Don't throw it away," he said. "Sometimes the strongest furniture comes from wood that has been repaired." The lessons stayed with the children. Years passed. One of those children became an engineer. Another became a teacher. Another started a successful furniture company. One became an architect who designed schools across the country. Whenever they returned to the village, they all visited the same old workshop. One rainy afternoon, Mr. Ade became seriously ill. The news spread quickly. Within hours, dozens of former students arrived. Some had traveled hundreds of kilometers. Some had left important meetings. Some brought their own children. Mr. Ade looked around the room with tears in his eyes. "I never became rich," he whispered. An engineer stepped forward. "No, Baba. You became something greater." The room fell silent. The teacher continued. "You gave us skills. You gave us confidence. You believed in us when nobody else did." Another former student spoke. "The business I own today exists because you taught me never to give up." An architect added. "The schools I designed have educated thousands of children. Your lessons reached them too, even though they never met you." Mr. Ade smiled. For the first time in his life, he understood the true value of what he had built. Not furniture. Not money. People. A few days later, Mr. Ade passed away peacefully. At his funeral, hundreds of people attended. Business owners, teachers, doctors, engineers, parents, young children. Each one carried a different story. But they all shared the same message. "He changed my life." Years later, the village built a training center in his honor. Above the entrance, they placed a simple wooden sign. It read, "The richest people are not those who keep the most, but those who give others the chance to grow." Every child who entered that building learned the story of the humble carpenter whose greatest investment was not in wood, but in people. His bank account eventually disappeared. His legacy never did. Financial lesson: money can buy comfort, but character earns respect. Money can purchase possessions, but generosity builds memories. Money can create a business, but purpose creates a legacy. Never measure your success only by the balance in your bank account. Measure it by the number of lives you've lifted. Measure it by the opportunities you've created. Measure it by the person you've become. Because when your journey is over, your possessions will stay behind, but your influence can continue for generations. Remember this: the greatest return on your money is not what it buys for you, it's what it makes possible for others. End of chapter. Transition. We've uncovered powerful truths about money throughout this journey. But there is one final chapter, one final truth that brings NTH. End of chapter. Transition. We've uncovered powerful truths about money throughout this journey. But there is one final chapter, one final truth that brings every lesson together. In the last chapter, you'll discover the truth about money that can completely transform the way you live, earn, save, and build wealth for the rest of your life. Chapter 10: The Greatest Truth About Money. We've talked about value. We've talked about discipline. We've talked about mindset. We've talked about investing in yourself. We've talked about time. We've talked about legacy. But if you remember only one lesson from this entire video, let it be this: money is an amplifier. It doesn't automatically make someone wise. It doesn't automatically make someone generous. It doesn't automatically make someone happy. Money simply makes more of what is already inside a person. If you're disciplined before you become wealthy, you'll likely remain disciplined after you become wealthy. If you're generous before you have much, you'll often become even more generous when you have more. If you're careless with a little, having more money may simply create bigger mistakes. That is why the journey to wealth is never just about building a bank account. It's about building yourself. Because eventually, the person you become determines what you do with the money you earn. Story. There once lived two brothers named Ibrahim and Musa. They grew up in a modest home where every naira mattered. Their father worked long hours as a mechanic. Their mother sold vegetables in the local market. Life wasn't easy, but their parents taught them one lesson every evening. Their father would often say, "Money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master." As children, they didn't understand those words. Years passed. Both brothers finished school and started working. One ordinary afternoon, their lives changed forever. A wealthy uncle who had no children passed away and left each of them the same inheritance. It was enough money to completely change their lives. The village celebrated. Friends congratulated them. People assumed both brothers would become successful. But money began revealing who they really were. Ibrahim believed the money would solve every problem. He stopped working. He bought an expensive SUV. He hosted lavish parties every weekend. Whenever friends asked for money, he gave it away without thinking, hoping they would admire him. He invested in businesses he didn't understand because someone promised quick profits. When his parents warned him to slow down, he laughed. "There will always be more money," he said confidently. Months turned into years. The expensive car lost value. The businesses collapsed. Many of the friends who surrounded him disappeared the moment the money ran out. One rainy evening, Ibrahim sat alone in the same house where he had celebrated his inheritance. For the first time, he realized something painful. The money hadn't ruined his life. His choices had. Meanwhile, Musa made different decisions. The day he received his inheritance, he visited his parents. His father smiled and repeated the same sentence he had heard since childhood. "Money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master." This time, Musa understood. He continued working. He hired a financial advisor to help him understand investments. He started a small manufacturing business. He kept learning. He made mistakes. Some investments failed. A trusted business partner once betrayed him, costing him a significant amount of money. For weeks, Musa questioned himself. One evening, he sat outside with his mother. "I feel like I've failed," he admitted quietly. His mother looked at him with gentle eyes. "No," she said. "You only fail when you stop learning." Those words became his turning point. Instead of giving up, Musa studied what had gone wrong. He strengthened his business systems. He became more careful about whom he trusted. Slowly, the business recovered. Years later, it had grown into a company employing hundreds of people. Young graduates found jobs there. Families earned steady incomes. Local suppliers expanded because of the opportunities Musa created. One afternoon, Ibrahim visited his brother's office. Looking around, he whispered, "You received the same amount of money I did." Musa nodded. "Yes. So why did our lives become so different?" Musa smiled and pointed to a framed note hanging on the wall. It read, "Character decides what money becomes." Ibrahim stood silently. For a long moment, neither brother spoke. Finally, Ibrahim said, "I spent years trying to change my life by changing my bank account." Musa placed a hand on his shoulder. "And I spent years changing myself." That single conversation changed Ibrahim's life. He didn't become wealthy overnight. He returned to work. He paid off his debts one step at a time. He rebuilt his habits. He learned new skills. He stopped chasing shortcuts. Years later, while he never became as wealthy as Musa, he found something even more valuable than quick riches. He found peace. He found purpose. He found discipline. And because of that, he built a stable and meaningful life. The inheritance had given both brothers the same opportunity. But their character determined the outcome. Final financial lesson. This is the truth about money that nobody tells you. Money is important. It can provide security. It can create opportunities. It can improve lives. But money is not the foundation. Character is. Discipline is. Patience is. Integrity is. The willingness to keep learning is. If you focus only on making more money, you may become frustrated. But if you focus on becoming wiser, more valuable, more disciplined, and more intentional, you give yourself a stronger chance of building lasting wealth. Don't chase money. Build value. Don't compare yourself with others. Compare yourself with the person you were yesterday. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Start with what you have. Protect what you earn. Invest in your growth. Use your time wisely. Help others as you succeed. And remember, the richest life isn't necessarily the one with the biggest bank account. It's the one filled with purpose, peace, generosity, and a legacy that continues long after you're gone. OUTRO. If this video changed the way you think about money, don't let it end here. Choose just one lesson from today's video and begin applying it this week. Small, consistent actions can lead to remarkable changes over time. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who could benefit from these lessons. Thank you for watching Psychology of Success. If this video brought you value, subscribe, like, and share it with someone who is committed to growth. Remember, success is not something you find, it's something you build, one decision at a time. Because the future belongs to those who take action today. Master your mind. Transform your life. I'll see you in the next lesson. Build wealth faster. What if the reason you are not wealthy yet has almost nothing to do with how hard you work? What if you could work harder and harder for the next 10 years, and still remain financially stuck? And what if the people who build wealth faster aren't necessarily smarter than you, luckier than you, or more talented than you? They simply understand something most people never learn. They understand how money actually grows. Think about this. Two people can earn the exact same income. They can live in the same city. They can have the same number of hours in a day. They can even start with almost nothing. Yet 10 years later, one is financially free while the other is still asking, "Where did all my money go?" The difference isn't always income. It's what they do with the income. It's what they learn. It's what they build. It's what they refuse to waste. And most importantly, it's how quickly they turn their time, skills, money, and decisions into assets that continue working for them. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to build wealth faster. But I want you to stay until the very end because we're not starting with investing. We're not starting with stocks. We're not starting with cryptocurrency. We're not even starting with saving money. We're starting somewhere much deeper. Because before you can build wealth with money, you must build the person capable of creating, keeping, and multiplying it. And in Chapter 1, you're going to discover the first wealth accelerator, the one that determines whether everything else in this video will work for you. Introduction: the race you don't realize you're in. Imagine two young people named Daniel and Michael. Both are 22 years old. Both earn modest incomes. Both want the same thing: a better life. Daniel believes wealth comes from earning more money. So whenever he gets a raise, he upgrades his lifestyle. New phone, better clothes, more expensive restaurants, more entertainment. Eventually, his income increases again, and his lifestyle increases with it. Michael takes a different approach. Whenever his income increases, he asks himself one question: how much of this increase can I use to make my future income larger? Instead of spending everything, he invests in education. He learns a valuable skill. He starts a small side business. He builds relationships. He saves part of his income. He invests what he can afford to invest. At first, Daniel looks richer. He has the nicer phone, the better clothes, the more expensive lifestyle. Michael doesn't look impressive. But something invisible is happening. Michael is building assets. Daniel is building expenses. 5 years pass. Daniel is still earning money. But every month he needs money. Michael is earning money from his work. But he has also created other things that can produce value. And this is where the game changes. Because wealth isn't simply about how much money enters your life. Wealth is about how much value you can create, keep, and multiply. And once you understand that, you stop asking, how can I make money quickly? You start asking, how can I become more valuable? That question leads us directly into Chapter 1. Because the fastest way to build wealth begins with something you carry everywhere you go: your mind. Chapter 1: Become more valuable. There is a principle that can change the way you look at money forever. Your income tends to follow the value you can create. If you want to build wealth faster, don't only ask, how can I earn more? Ask, what valuable problem can I solve? Let me tell you a story. A young man named David worked for a small company. For years, he complained that his salary was too low. Every morning he arrived at work frustrated. He believed his employer was the problem. Then one day, someone asked him, what skill would make you so valuable that your company couldn't ignore you? That question changed his life. David began studying. He learned sales, then marketing, then data analysis. Then he learned how to use modern software tools. He wasn't waiting for his company to magically increase his salary. He was increasing his own value. Eventually, another company offered him a much better position. Not because David begged for more money, but because he had become capable of producing more value. That's the secret. Don't chase money first. Chase value. If you can solve problems that people are willing to pay to have solved, you have created an engine for income. Learn communication. Learn sales. Learn technology. Learn writing. Learn leadership. Learn marketing. Learn investing. Learn negotiation. Learn a technical skill. Learn how businesses work. The more valuable problems you can solve, the more opportunities you create. But here's where things become interesting. You can become extremely valuable and still remain financially stuck. Why? Because earning more money is only half the battle. The other half is keeping it. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover in Chapter 2. Because if you don't control your spending, every increase in income can disappear as quickly as it arrives. Chapter 2: Stop letting your lifestyle eat your future. Imagine receiving an extra $500 every month. Most people immediately think, "What can I buy?" Wealth builders think, "What can this $500 become?" There's a massive psychological difference between those two questions. One focuses on consumption. The other focuses on multiplication. Consider James. James gets a promotion and starts earning significantly more. Instead of keeping his old lifestyle while investing the difference, he upgrades everything. More expensive apartment. More expensive car. More expensive clothes. More expensive vacations. His income rises, but his financial freedom doesn't. Why? Because his expenses rose at almost the same speed. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it quietly destroys wealth. The problem isn't enjoying your money. The problem is allowing every increase in income to become a permanent increase in expenses. Imagine your income as water flowing into a bucket. If the bucket has huge holes, pouring more water into it won't solve the problem. You need to close the holes. That means understanding where your money goes. You don't need to live miserably. You don't need to hate spending. You simply need to make sure that your spending doesn't destroy your future. Create a gap between what you earn and what you spend. Then use that gap strategically. Because that gap is where wealth begins. But now comes the question. What should you do with the money you successfully keep? Saving alone isn't enough. And that's why Chapter 3 may be one of the most important chapters in this entire video. Because your money needs somewhere to go. Chapter 3. Make your money work. Imagine you have two workers. Worker A works 8 hours every day. Worker B works 8 hours every day. But also has thousands of tiny workers working for him. Which person has the greater potential? The second person. Your money can become those workers. When you invest responsibly in productive assets, your money has the potential to generate returns. And then those returns can generate additional returns. This is the power of compounding. Imagine planting a tree. At first, it looks insignificant. You water it. You protect it. You wait. Nothing dramatic happens. Then years later, the tree becomes large enough to provide shade, fruit, and seeds. Money can work similarly. The beginning often feels slow. That is why many people quit. They expect their first investments to transform their lives overnight. But wealth often grows quietly before it becomes visible. The key is consistency. Depending on your circumstances, investing might involve diversified funds, retirement accounts, businesses, or other productive assets. The exact choice depends on your goals, risk tolerance, country, taxes, and financial situation. But the principle remains. Don't let every dollar you earn depend entirely on your future labor. Build assets. Because eventually, you want your money to start helping you produce more money. But there is a problem. You can invest and still build wealth painfully slowly. Why? Because your investment capital may be too small. So how do you accelerate the process? You increase the amount of capital you can deploy. And that takes us to Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Create more than one income engine. There was once a man who worked at the same job for 20 years. Every month, his employer paid him. Every month, he paid his bills. Every year, he hoped for a raise. His entire financial life depended on one engine. His job. Then imagine another person. She has a job. But she also freelances. She sells a digital product. She invests. She builds a small business. Maybe none of these produces huge money individually. But together, they create something powerful. Multiple income streams. Now understand this carefully. Multiple income streams do not mean trying 10 random side hustles at once. That's another trap. The goal is not to become busy. The goal is to become financially diversified and strategically productive. Start with one additional engine. Build it. Improve it. Systemize it. Then consider another. A person who earns $1,000 from one source has one engine. A person who earns $1,000 from 3 sources has 3 engines. But there's something even more powerful than simply creating multiple income streams. Creating income that isn't completely dependent on every hour you personally work. That leads us to Chapter 5. And this is where many ambitious people make a critical mistake. Chapter 5. Stop selling only your time. When you're young, you often exchange time for money. You work 1 hour. You get paid for that hour. That's normal. But there is a ceiling. You only have 24 hours in a day. You cannot sell the same hour twice. So eventually, you need leverage. Leverage means using something beyond your personal time to multiply your output. A business can provide leverage. Technology can provide leverage. Content can provide leverage. Capital can provide leverage. A team can provide leverage. Knowledge can provide leverage. Think about a teacher. One teacher can teach 30 students in a classroom. But if that teacher creates an online course, thousands of people could potentially learn from it. The teacher's knowledge has been transformed into an asset. That's leverage. Think about a content creator. One video can take hours to produce. But after publication, that same video can potentially reach thousands or millions of people without the creator personally speaking to every viewer. That's leverage. The question becomes, how can I create something once that continues producing value? This is one of the biggest shifts from simply earning an income to building wealth. But there's another accelerator. Because even with valuable skills and leverage, you can still destroy your progress with one bad habit. That habit is debt. And Chapter 6 explains how to make debt work for you, or work against you. Chapter 6. Control debt before debt controls you. Debt is not automatically good or bad. The question is, what is the debt doing for you? Imagine 2 people borrow money. Person A borrows money to buy something that loses value and creates monthly expenses. Person B borrows responsibly to acquire or expand something that can produce income or long-term value. They both have debt. But the economic purpose is completely different. This is why wealthy thinking requires you to stop looking at money emotionally. Before borrowing, ask, what will this debt cost me? What will it produce? Can I comfortably repay it? What happens if my income falls? Is this helping me build an asset, or simply helping me consume something I cannot currently afford? A person can earn a high income and still be financially fragile. Another person can earn less but have strong savings, manageable debt, and growing assets. The goal isn't to look wealthy. The goal is to become financially resilient. And that brings us to Chapter 7. Because even if you earn more, spend less, invest wisely, and control debt, there is still one invisible force that can destroy everything: your emotions. Chapter 7. Master your emotions around money. Money is mathematical. But humans are emotional. And that's why people make terrible financial decisions. Fear makes people sell at the worst possible moment. Greed makes people chase things they don't understand. Envy makes people spend money trying to look successful. Impatience makes people search for overnight wealth. And desperation makes people vulnerable to scams and unrealistic promises. Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus sees someone online claiming they made thousands in a week. Suddenly, his normal financial plan feels boring. He wants the same result. So he puts money into something he doesn't understand. At first, the numbers rise. He's excited. Then the market turns. Fear takes over. He panics. He loses money. The problem wasn't simply the investment. The problem was that Marcus allowed emotion to replace strategy. Building wealth requires patience. You need the ability to say, I don't need to become rich this month. That sentence is powerful. Because when you stop being desperate for fast money, you become harder to manipulate. You begin thinking long-term. You stop chasing every opportunity. You start evaluating risk. You become patient. And patience becomes a competitive advantage. But there is one more emotional battle: comparison. And Chapter 8 will show you why comparing your financial journey to someone else's can quietly keep you poor. Chapter 8. Stop competing with other people. Imagine two runners. One is running a marathon. The other is running a 100-meter race. If the marathon runner constantly looks at the sprinter, he will feel slow. But he's not slow. He's running a different race. Your financial life is the same. Someone may buy a luxury car at 25. Someone else may own a house at 30. Someone may build a successful company at 35. That doesn't mean you are behind. The internet makes comparison worse. You see someone's success. You don't see their failures. You see the vacation. You don't see the debt. You see the business. You don't see the years of work. You see the result. You don't see the process. Wealth builders learn to focus on their own scoreboard. Ask yourself, am I earning more valuable income? Am I saving more? Am I investing consistently? Am I reducing unnecessary debt? Am I building valuable skills? Am I becoming more disciplined? Those are better questions than, why isn't my life like theirs? But there's something even deeper. You can know exactly what to do and still fail to do it. That's why Chapter 9 is about execution. Because knowledge without action creates nothing. Chapter 9: Turn knowledge into action. A person can watch 500 videos about wealth, read 100 books, listen to podcasts every morning, take notes, highlight pages, talk about investing, talk about business, talk about discipline, and still remain exactly where they started. Why? Because information doesn't create wealth. Applied information does. Imagine someone learning how to swim. They can watch swimming tutorials for 10 years. But eventually, they must enter the water. You must do the same with your financial education. Learn about budgeting. Then create a budget. Learn about investing. Then research appropriate investments for your situation. Learn about business. Then test the small business idea. Learn a skill. Then offer that skill to someone. Learn sales. Then make an offer. Learn communication. Then communicate. Action converts knowledge into experience. Experience creates judgment. Judgment improves decisions. Better decisions create better results. And better results compound. But before you rush out and try everything at once, there is one final principle. The most important wealth builders don't simply start strong. They stay consistent. And that's what Chapter 10 is about. Chapter 10: Play the long game. One of the biggest secrets of wealth is surprisingly boring. Consistency. Not excitement. Not motivation. Not overnight success. Consistency. Think about a farmer. A farmer doesn't plant a seed in the morning and dig it up that evening because nothing happened. He understands time. He understands seasons. He understands that growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Your financial life can be the same. You save. You invest. You learn. You build. You improve. You repeat. At first, the results may look insignificant. Then something changes. Your skills become better. Your income increases. Your savings grow. Your investments compound. Your network expands. Your opportunities increase. Your confidence grows. And eventually, the things you were doing consistently begin producing results that look sudden to everyone else. People may say, "You got lucky." But they didn't see the years. They didn't see the mornings. They didn't see the sacrifices. They didn't see the small decisions. They only saw the harvest. And that's why you must understand this. Wealth is usually built slowly, then recognized suddenly. The final wealth formula. Let's bring everything together. If you want to build wealth faster, remember these principles. Become more valuable. Increase your earning power. Control lifestyle inflation. Create a gap between income and expenses. Use that gap to build productive assets. Develop additional income engines. Use leverage. Control destructive debt. Master your emotions. Stop comparing your journey to others. Turn knowledge into action. and stay consistent long enough for your efforts to compound. But don't make the mistake of thinking that building wealth means becoming obsessed with money. Money is a tool. The ultimate goal is freedom. Freedom to make choices. Freedom to spend more time with people you love. Freedom to pursue meaningful work. Freedom to survive difficult seasons. Freedom to say no. Freedom to build something that matters. So don't wake up tomorrow thinking, I need to get rich. Wake up thinking, I need to become more valuable. Then, I need to keep more of what I earn. Then, I need to put my resources to work. Then, I need to repeat this process for years. That is how wealth is built. Not through one magical decision. Through thousands of intelligent decisions repeated over time. Final story. Before we end, imagine yourself 10 years from now. There are two versions of you. One version looks back and says, I wish I had started. The other says, I'm grateful I started when I did. Both versions began with the same thing. A decision. Not $1 million. Not perfect circumstances. Not perfect knowledge. Just a decision. The decision to learn. The decision to stop wasting. The decision to become valuable. The decision to build assets. The decision to control emotions. The decision to think long term. The decision to start. And maybe your first step won't look impressive. Maybe you won't have much money. Maybe you won't know exactly what you're doing. That's okay. You don't need to see the entire staircase. You only need to take the next step. Because the future version of you is being created by what you repeatedly do today. So start small. Start intelligently. Start patiently. But most importantly, start. OUTRO. If this video gave you a new way to think about wealth, don't just watch it and move on. Write down one thing you're going to change. One skill you're going to learn. One expense you're going to control. One asset you're going to begin building. One financial habit you're going to repeat. Then give yourself time. Because your goal isn't to become rich overnight. Your goal is to become the kind of person who becomes financially stronger every year. Remember, master your mind. Transform your life. And if you're serious about building wealth, don't leave yet. The next video will take you even deeper into the psychology behind financial success, and it may completely change the way you think about money. Thank you for watching Psychology of Success. If this video brought you value, subscribe, like, and share it with someone who is committed to growth. Remember, success is not something you find, it's something you build, one decision at a time. Because the future belongs to those who take action today. Master your mind. Transform your life. I'll see you in the next lesson.